Third place finisher Cooper Webb on the KTM Red Bull. Second place finisher Ken Roxon on Team Honda Red Bull. And then our winner, the fourth time, Eli Tomac aboard Monster Energy Kawasaki. Cooper, your seventh podium of the season. You're now 29 points back in third place in the overall championship standings. But take us through your race. Had some great battles with Justin and Eli up front. It was a heck of a show tonight. Pleased with the run, at least getting on podium tonight.
Yeah, it was okay race. I got a decent start. Had to make some passes with Barsha, and then got around Anderson and felt Eli there. And we had a pretty good pace going. And then he was able to get around me and kind of made some mistakes. Kind of lost the toe and just kind of got a distant third. So it's pretty good, but I definitely want to be closer to these two up here.
Second place finisher Ken Roxon. Ken 0.707 seconds away, but a great battle with Eli there at the end. Take us through this runner-up finish and getting closer to getting that first Daytona win.
Yeah, in the middle of the race, I kind of switched up my lines a little bit. That didn't work out too well, and that Eli was coming, and I made a mistake and tipped over in the turn. That cost me the lead right there. But for me, even when that happened, it was important to not give up and stay right behind him. And we were definitely putting up a good pace there in the end still. And I tried my hardest there in the end. It wasn't enough for the win, but this is the closest I've been to a win in Daytona, and this will have to do for tonight. And just really happy with the consistency we've been bringing every single weekend. Same with our starts, and we're just going to continue doing the same thing.
Thank you, Ken. And now Eli Tomac, fourth Daytona Supercross victory. You're now one of four riders with four or more Daytona Supercross victories. Ryan Villapoto and Jeff Stanton with 4, and Ricky Carmichael with 5. Eli, that's also 4 Daytona Supercrosses in the last 5 years. Pretty amazing record here at Daytona. You also leave here with a 3-point championship lead. Take us through the race and being able to run Ken down there and to get by him and to come away with this 4th victory.
I really thought it was a far shot. I mean, looking up and then seeing him out in front, I'm like, gosh darn it. It was tough tonight to make up like the time. It was really just ended up being the sand and having good momentum. And then I had another good line through the option lane, but there was a lot of single file in a lot of areas, but was able to capitalize on a few mistakes, and I think that's what got me to the top.
You talk about the run that you're having here at Daytona, four wins in 5 years, and just the success you've been able to get here.
It's hard to put my finger on what it is, other than just enjoying the track. I guess that is it. Having a positive mindset coming into the race, and I seem to always enjoy the looser surface. So a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and it's our 4th one. Pretty cool.
Nice job, Eli. We do have wireless mics in the audience. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll bring the microphone to you. We'll begin over here with Godwin, then we'll go to Jason, and then we'll go right here.
Okay, Eli, Godwin Kelly with the News Journal in Daytona Beach. Right at the start, when you got behind, first of all, how did that happen?
I chose the second gate. There were some decent starts out of there from the heat races and the LCQ, but I was just shuffled back a little bit. But either way, it still came out whatever I was, probably 6th or something. So wasn't terrible, but wasn't the best. And that's where I was at. And then had all the really fast guys in front of me. So that was it. I'm like, this is gonna be a long lane.
So I'm watching the splits here on my screen, and you were at one point, I think you were 8 seconds behind Ken. Is there any way that your team can communicate that to you, that you need to pick it up, or did you just have a self-awareness of that?
I probably look at the pit board 4 or 5 times a race, and I just focus and try to do my thing. So really, I was just marking Ken on the track, and that's all you can do at that point. This track is long enough. You can get it done. It just you got to be patient.
And going back to what Andrew was talking about, all the good things that happened to you tonight, can you sum that up? I mean, you got the points lead, you're chasing Ricky for number 5, you won the 50th Supercross. I mean, it's a big night.
Yeah, big night, and just we're in a really good spot for the points. Spot we haven't been in, and we've been consistent that way. So just keep trucking along.
Go to Jason.
Eli, you had your best lap of the race like pretty late, say like 5 minutes to go, which is kind of crazy, but we've seen you do that kind of thing before. Is that something that just happens in a race situation? Do you do that at home? Or at laps like that, is that something that only happens when it's all on the line, trying to get a race when it's trying to catch somebody?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going for the lead, and then at that point, I probably had clean air, I'm not following anyone. So when you're in 6th, then you're always behind the guy, and a lot of times you don't get that really good lap in. So towards the end, I had some clean air to make that big push.
And for all 3 of you guys, the track is obviously brutal. I mean, how much is it just physical down the stretch and just having to dig deep? I mean, is everybody struggling in their own way at some point in a race like this for all 3 of you guys?
For me, actually, I felt like there are other races that seem longer, and for me, I don't know if it was just because we were in the battle, and obviously with Eli coming, I was kind of surprised when the white flag came out, and I didn't really have too much time to think about anything, so I felt pretty good out there the whole way.
This place, like you just kind of have to just relax. I mean, to be honest, I liked it when it was the 20 laps, a little bit even longer. I mean, the 18 laps feels kind of short just because you're used to doing 26 or 27 laps in the stadium environment.
Yeah, agreed. I didn't think it was too bad tonight. I mean, I feel like I've raced it here when the track's definitely tougher. So it did seem like a short main event.
Right there.
Hey guys, Ben Bridges. Eli, 107 career Supercross starts, 32 wins, 59 podiums, 75 top 5s, but more importantly, you put your name next to Jeff Stanton and Ryan Villapoto. When you were trying to climb through the pack to win the 50th Daytona and to put your name up there with them, how deep did you have to dig tonight?
It was just early on. Like I said earlier, I thought it was just a far shot. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna get to the front at this point. I felt like this was maybe one of the most single file Daytonas. I mean, it seems like it's hit and miss that way, just because they made it easier. If not as jumpy, not as technical. But the way the stand played out, I felt like that was the time to be made. Was good momentum through the stand. So, but yeah, really cool to be there with those guys.
Any other questions for podium, the 50th? We'll come right up here, and then we'll go over to Mitch.
Steve Everson with DaytonaSX. Cooper, you look a lot more comfortable tonight than you did last week after the main event. Are we kind of over the hump on Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Obviously a lot better, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much good to go. Just yeah, it was tough crash, but that was 2 weeks ago, so we'll move on from that.
Kenny, watching you come around that loop in the beginning, and then you and Jason racing for the big jump after that. How important was it to get out front and try and sprint away there?
It was huge, especially I feel like going into the turn, I felt like I was first, but it's so tough with it being hard underneath. Like I kind of slid a little bit, and then I was hoping that me being on the inside of Jason going around there that I would have the lead, but made the pass going to the finish line jump, and obviously he sent it off the wall, 3 of them, but I wasn't really planning on that because I feel like landing is such a hard hit and most likely will take some momentum away just because it kind of throws you off balance a little bit. So I could make a good push there and just go straight to the front. So that felt really good and just rode super solid, and then just switched up some lines a little bit. And I actually made one mistake in the off camber, and I went outside when the track was still pretty fresh, but I kind of went not almost off the track, but I didn't jump that whole section right there, and that kind of threw some things off a little bit. But I feel like we found ourselves again there towards the end, and all I could do was try to follow Eli and yeah, try to keep close, stay close.
You're like Daytona's unique, where the fans get to join up and come out to the podium afterwards. Watching you interact with those guys afterwards, it seems like that really pumps you up.
It's cool. I mean, it's always easy to be pumped, right, when you win the race, but having everyone right there, it's pretty neat. You know, like you can, you know, they're right there on the side of the track and then up to the podium. So, yeah, that's cool for everyone.
Mitch Kendra, Racer X. Eli, so you talked about momentum throughout the day where you're trying to find your fast lap after qualifying. What does this momentum mean in the championship after the week like Roxon had last weekend and everything that you had going?
I mean, it's so close now. I mean, so we just got to still take it weekend by weekend. You know, there's obviously no settling, you know, at all at this point in the season. So just glad to fight back to the front of the pack there.
Anything else for the podium?
Well,
Godwin?
I just got one more.
Barely got through. That's fine. Godwin?
So Eli, over the last 5 years, do you feel like you're a little bit invincible at Daytona at this point? You have that kind of confidence? And somebody wanted to know what you do with your cape after when you start the race. Where do you hide it?
I'm not going to stroke myself that much. It's just, I don't know. It's just like, for some reason, like I feel like I'm comfortable in this condition, in this style of track. I feel like, you know, our motorcycle has worked really well for us, because it's always tough here on really knowing what to do because of the combination of the bumps and the jumps. And my bike's just seems like it's pretty dialed in here every year, so it makes it easier.
We'll go to Jason.
Yeah, one more. Yeah. So the 8th mic I've used tonight. That off-camber turn, Eli, I saw you feed off the pegs once. I think it was a pretty wild ride, and then that's ultimately where you made the mistake. So can you just describe those two incidents? And a lot of the race really came down to that.
I mean, that was it, right? I mean, I bounced out to the outside once or twice, and then that off camera had a split rut, and it was kind of funky. Early on, I was going the inside one, and then moved out to the outside. Yeah, you know, there was that one, and then there was another sand rut too that was right against the bale. So yeah, those were tough.
There's something about this track too, especially whether that was the sand. Some of the turns on the inside were so tight, we were scraping the tough blocks, and same with the off camber. You go so slow around those turns, and yeah, sometimes you either catch something, or if your front wheel is just a little bit over the rut, it kind of is in the soft spot. I don't really know what happened to me. It seems like I leaned in and my front was over the rut or something, and that's when I took over. So.
Anything else? Gentlemen, great job tonight. Great show. Best of luck at Indianapolis. Thank you.